So I've got the all new Tecno Pop 7 Pro, the latest in the Pop series, and honestly I'm already feeling cool with it. For 65,000 naira, which is $141, it is still among the cheapest Tecno phones of 2023. The amazing part is that it has so many features that no other Tecno Pop device has. Why am I already feeling like the Tecno Pop 7 Pro is on fire? Out of the box, it somehow feels like every other device in the Pop series, especially with how it is packaged. This is the box, no much difference. Right inside, you get the phone first, looking awesome. It is followed by a 500 MB of data offer from MTN. The next item is the regular transparent TPU shock absorbing case and a 10-watt charger. Actually, the first time a Pop device is packed with a big charger and has an adjustable leg. Then a USB Type-C cable, which is still the first for the Pop series, an earpiece, and the same eject pin. This is the charger. I plugged it in at 0% of battery charge and then wait until it gets to 100%. So stick around because I'm going to tell you how long it took. So now that I have the Tecno Pop 7 Pro, taking a very close look at it, what has actually changed? I will answer this question by comparing it with the Tecno Pop 6 that was launched last year. The link to the full review of the Tecno Pop 6 is in the description, and if you intend to buy the Tecno Pop 6 or the Tecno Pop 7 Pro, the link is in the description as well. So please make sure you are subscribed to this channel and click the like button. You can do it like right now. On the Pop 7 Pro, there are lots of things that remained unchanged. The battery capacity is still 5000 mAh. The display resolution is 720 by 1600 pixels, and the internet connection is capped at 4G. Of course not, we are not expecting a 5G internet from a 65,000 naira device. Then there is the fingerprint scanner too. It is mounted at the back just like the Pop 6. Basically, these are the things that remain the same with the Tecno Pop 7 Pro. Now let me show you the real deal, what Tecno actually changed on this device. First, it is the storage space. This is the first time the Pop series is featuring a 64GB of internal storage and a 3GB RAM that is expandable to 6GB RAM. Plus, there's still a 4GB RAM variant for this device. Honestly, for 65k, it makes sense. We couldn't have expected more. Let me know what you think about the storage space in the comment. Now let's talk about the design. The Pop 7 Pro is slightly bigger. At the back, the camera setup is different and it is safe to say that the Pop 7 Pro looks better. There are two cameras here. The main camera is 13 megapixel and the second camera is a 2 megapixel QVGA. The back is made of plastic material but seemed refined. There is this pattern at the back that adds to what is already an impressive look. It has the SIM house to the left and can hold two SIM cards and a memory card at the same time. Then there's the USB Type-C port at the bottom, which is quite spectacular for the Pop 7 Pro when you consider the price. Here at the front, it has a 6.6-inch dot-notch display with a 5 megapixel camera sensor. The huge display bezels in last year's Pop 6 has been reduced in this Pop 7 Pro. It now has a 90% screen-to-body ratio. As I mentioned earlier in this video, the display is almost the same, but it passed its IPS 2 splash water rating, so let's just add that to its CV. You know, it's almost criminal to say that the display is not good enough. It is so responsive and displays images so nicely. No one's going to pick up an issue with it. Let me spare the phone and see how far the charging is doing. It's been charging for over 26 minutes now and here we are at 14%. That's insane. I guess at this point it's safe to say that this charger is so slow. It is built on Android 12, HiOS 12. The processor is MediaTek Helio A22, which is quite okay for me. Basically, this Helio A22 processor can handle everyday routine performed by the phone, plus a handful of moderate games. But what about heavy games like PUBG, Call of Duty, and online PES? Sure, it does have the capacity to play all these games, and since the RAM storage can be expanded up to 6GB, the process of installing and playing these games should even be easier. But this will come at a very big cost, because playing these games on this device will not only slow its performance, but also cause overheating. Overheating will damage the phone in the long run. In the meantime, the phone might run too slow, begin to lag, to the extent that you will not even enjoy playing the game anymore. So if you are going to purchase this device, you will have to stick to moderate games. Let me spell on the charging one more time. So it has been charging for over an hour now. As you can see here, 62 minutes of charge time, which is 1 hour 2 minutes. And it has charged only 45%, as you can see right here on the phone. This is really frustrating and embarrassing. Well, I rate this as extremely slow. Aside from installing high-end games, the phone runs super fast. Opening apps for the first time don't delay. Transitions are perfect and scrolling through contents on this display is flawless. Now back to the battery and the 10-watt charger. This is the 0% to 100% battery charge test. And as you can see on the screen, that's a whole lot of time. Now come to the one thing on this device that I've been so desperate to talk about. The camera. From the specification, it has a 13 megapixel camera and a QVGA camera at the back, and the front camera is 5 megapixel. But as good as 13 megapixel might sound, it is not exactly as one would expect when it comes to quality. Footages are not that sharp with this camera, but even with this, it is far better than the 8 megapixel sensor on the Pop 6, but not as good as 13 megapixel camera in other devices I know of. It has a good focus, and this is just how amazing it gets. When you focus on the near object and when you focus on the far object. The AI camera mode takes normal shot and does well under low light. At least it's manageable. The picture of this dog was taken in the early hour of the day before the day got to its full brightness. It has a 4x zooming scale, but you will lose a lot of image quality if you zoom in. The indicated building in this picture is about 1.5 kilometers away. This is how close this camera can take us to this building. As for taking video with this camera, I will leave that to your own discretion so that you can make your own decision based on what you now see on the screen. The front camera or 5 megapixel sensor gives a little below normal shot. After all, it's just a 5 megapixel camera. Since the back camera is 13 megapixel, I was hoping that the front camera will be 8 megapixel. If it were so, it might have been great for video calls. Whether the front camera is considerable or not, it is now left for you to tell based on the output you see on the screen. So this is the front camera of the Tecno Pop 7 Pro, just in case you want to buy this device and you want to know how the front camera appears. Well, you can tell if this is something you can use for video shots or something you can use for selfie pictures. Well, it's not that great with just 5 megapixel of camera sensor. So, well, I won't really recommend this camera, but the back camera, I think it's better than any other Pop device, so fine for the back camera, but not for the front camera. But if you're interested in buying this device, this is what you can get with the front camera. Honestly, the Pop 7 Pro is cheap, to be on the realistic side. And I even forgot to mention that it does support side panel that is mostly available on the more expensive devices. So for the first time, Tecno is actually allowing its users to access more features for less pay. I don't really understand how Tecno managed to make this phone so cheap at a time when fuel is sold for almost 500 naira to a liter. So what's your take on the Tecno Pop 7 Pro? Let me know in the comment section below and see you in my next video.